Isabella's POV. The sunlight shines in my eyes as soon as I open them. I blink a couple of times to adjust to the light. I rubbed my eyes and found that I'm in the backseat of a car. I raised my head and realized my head was on Damien's lap. I sighed in relief. At least he was with me. He had his eyes closed and mouth slightly parted. He was in deep sleep. I know he didn't sleep all night. He was on high alert. I got off his lap and sat next to him. I peeked at the driver's seat and saw that Nate was driving. He saw me in the rearview mirror and gave me a smile.
Good morning, Luna. Did you sleep well?
He asked. Good morning to you too. And I slept well, thank you. When did you find us? I asked.
Oh, a couple hours ago. You guys managed to have a detour. You had to head towards west, but you went the opposite direction. Now it will take 2 more hours before we reach your pack house.
He explained. Was Damien awake the whole time? When did he sleep? I asked while stroking Damien's hair lightly.
He fell asleep as soon as he made you sleep on his lap. He said he was exhausted.
He replied. I feel bad now. He was awake all night and I was sleeping peacefully. He must be really tired. I sat on the edge of the seat and pulled his head on my lap. It was time to return the favor. His hands wrapped around my waist and he snuggled onto my stomach. I kept stroking his hair to make him feel at ease. Nate passed me a bottle of water and a wrapped chicken sandwich, which I took gratefully. I looked out the window inside. So much happened in just a couple of days. My kidnapping, Adam, Nina's second chance, us getting lost. I'm exhausted, physically and mentally. I pulled Damien closer to me and rested my head on the seat. After a few minutes, Damien's stirring caught my attention. I looked at him and caught him staring at me with a smile.
Good morning, baby,
he said in his deep, husky voice. He leaned forward and pecked my lips, before resting his head on my lap again. Good morning. How are you feeling?
Good.
Then he turned his head towards Nate.
How long till we reach? 1.5 hours more,
he replied. Damien groaned and snuggled closer to me again. I rubbed his shoulders and felt him relax under me.
You are so amazing, baby.
I blushed at the compliment. No one has complimented me before. His words make me feel weird things in my tummy. So are you, I said back. He looks at me and smiles. Then he kisses my tummy, making it all tingly and closing his eyes. Oh God, what is he doing to me? He always makes me feel like this. His smile ignites a strange spark in my body. And don't let me start on the kisses. It feels like a freaking zoo in my tummy. I take a deep breath and compose myself. Before I know it, we reach the familiar driveway of my pack. Damien? Wake up. We arrived, I said in his ears, but he showed no sign of waking up. I tried again and again, but to no avail.
Try calling him honey. Might wake him up,
Nate said and got off the driver's seat and to get the bags. I thought about it. Let's give it a try. It won't hurt to call him that. If he won't wake up, then he will not remember me calling him that. And if he does, then mission accomplished. Damien? Honey, wake up, we are back, I said softly and kissed his lips. I pulled away, but he held my neck from behind and placed my lips back on his. That sneaky devil. He kissed me softly, as if I will break. I kissed him back and closed my eyes, feeling that tingling in my tummy.
Hey, not in my car, you two,
Nate yelled from outside. I quickly let go, and Damien pushed himself off me. He rubbed his face and licked his lips, as if seeking for an aftertaste. I blushed and opened the door. I straightened my dress and got out. Damien following behind me, literally behind me. Nina is sitting on the couch in the living room, watching SpongeBob SquarePants. I shake my head and giggle. It catches her attention and she spots me staring. She smiles and throws herself at me. If it wasn't for Damien behind me, I would have fallen. Where were you two? You know how worried we were. How could you get lost when you have a GPS in your car? She exclaimed when she broke the hug.
I don't know how, but the GPS stopped working, and I took a few wrong turns, and we went in the opposite direction. Then my car broke down, resulting in us getting more lost.
Damien replied to her and wrapped his hands around my waist, hugging me from behind.
Alpha Damien, Isabella, we are glad you're back, safely.
I turned back and saw Alpha Mason and Luna Morgana approaching.
Yeah, we're glad too.
Damien replied, rolling his eyes. Yeah, well, lunch will be served in 15 minutes. Hope to see you there, Luna Morgana said and left. Oh God, just being in their presence gives me a headache, Nina exclaimed, and all of us chuckled. Damien and I cleaned up and went downstairs for a much-needed lunch, especially for Damien. He didn't eat anything since morning. We entered the dining hall, and much to my surprise, there were 2 empty seats at the table. Damien sat at his regular seat, and I went to sit on the empty one at the other end of the table, but he had other plans. He held me by my waist and dropped me on his lap, then continued eating as if nothing happened. Alpha Damien, there is an empty seat where Isabella can sit. You don't have to trouble yourself, Morgana said, touching his hands, giving him a concerned look. Damien was a little too quick to remove his hands from her hold, and dropped a glass of juice on her. She gasped and looked at Damien, eyes widened. The juice left a horrible shade of orange on her white dress.
Oh, I'm so sorry, Luna Morgana,
he said, not looking least bit sorry.
And it is my absolute pleasure to have my gorgeous maid sitting on my lap. It's no trouble,
he said with a smile in the end, mocking her. The silence of the room was broken when a warrior came in running.
Alpha, Luna, we're under attack.
And all hell broke loose.
Chapter 25, Damien's POV. Alpha, Luna, we're under attack. As soon as those words came out of his mouth, everyone stood up and started panicking. Seriously, these people need a break. We are alphas, trained to always be prepared for the war, during the war, and after war results. And here they are, hopping like kangaroos. I was seated in my seat, having my lunch peacefully, but then I felt Bella shaking. Why is she shaking? Because apparently they are under attack right now. She's scared. You buffalo, stop eating, Dom yelled in my head. Yeah, I knew that, and I'm not a buffalo, I shout back. Most of the time we talk, we only yelling at each other. I tighten my hold on Bella and turn her around to face me. Her expression was of pure horror and panic. That did it. I banged my hand on the table, sending all the plates flying, and whatever else around the room, and everyone froze. I cupped Bella's cheeks and gave her nose a small kiss. I looked around. Everyone was looking at me with weird expressions. Anger, confusion, frustration, fright, and even joy. The warrior that passed the message, if attacked, come forward, I ordered. The man came forward. He stood in front of me and bowed. Speak. What happened? Exactly what you saw, I said. I saw around 3 unknown and unusual wolves running in our direction and cross our boundary, he said. And you assumed they were attacking? How have you been trained? Just because these are some wolves running into your territory doesn't mean they mean harm, I sneer. These pathetic wolves. But what? Because of all this, my maid is terrified, I said. And look at Bella. Her big hazel eyes stared back at me. I smiled at her and held her to my chest, cradling her gently. Don't be scared, princess, I'm here. No one will hurt you. You trust me on this, right? She nodded her head, and I felt my wolf grinning in joy that our mates trust us. I stand up and lay Bella on her feet. I held her hand and went to the main door. As the boundary came into view, I saw 3 familiar wolves just outside the boundary line, panting. When they saw me, they stood up and bowed their heads. They are more powerful and larger than our other wolves, because they have alpha blood in them. Go behind a tree and put some clothes on, I mind-linked them. They obeyed and went to change. They all came back wearing basketball shorts and jerseys. The twin boys, Jared and Jacob, came back with their friend Michael, all grinning like fools. Alpha Mason, I want you to grant them permission to enter your territory, I said, more like commanded. He nodded his head and gave them permission. They immediately ran to me and hugged me tightly. All of them broke into a fit of laughter, and I cracked a smile. They got off and they greeted Nate and Nina. They were gone for a painfully long time, but now they were back, and I was beyond happy. So what are you rabbits doing here? I always called them rabbits because when they were young they would bounce more than they would walk, all three of them. Oh, Damien, quit calling us that now. You very well know we are not rabbits now, Jared said. What are you doing here? I asked again. Then I noticed how Bella was not with me. I spun around to look for her and found her standing near Nina. I sighed in relief and opened my arms for her so that I could hold her. She took small steps but came to me. I held her in my arms and looked at the three musketeers. Their eyebrows shot up, mouths hanging open, and an absolute shocked expression covering their faces. I held my urge to laugh at their faces. "Close your mouths, idiots," I told them, and they shut their mouths. "You have a mate," they said dramatically. Why is my life filled with crazy people? Of course, leaving my Bella. She is not crazy. Yeah, is that so hard to believe? I rolled my eyes. Yes, they are impossible,
Come in. We can discuss all that stuff inside.
Morgana said. I tugged at Bella's hand and we started making our way to the house. On the way, Bella suddenly lost balance. I caught her just in time. "What happened?" I asked, concerned.
Think I twisted my ankle. It's nothing.
She waved it off, but I wasn't having any. I picked her up bridal style and her arms wrapped around my neck. I pecked her lips and entered the house. Everyone was seated in the living room, waiting for us. It looks like the three made themselves comfortable, as they are sprawled upon two big couches. "Would you explain why they are in my land, Alpha?" Mason asked, eyeing them. "Hey, don't look at us like that," Michael said in an offended tone. "They are here to meet me," I said, and plopped down on an empty couch with Bella in my lap. "And why?" Mason asked. I didn't bother to answer that. I placed Bella beside me and pulled her leg on my lap, examining it, looking for any kind of injury. "Because we didn't see him for the past 4 years," Jared answered. "Oh God, there was a small bruise forming." "And why now, suddenly?" Mason asked. He has a lot of questions. "Because we wanted to," all three yelled in his face. I paid only half attention, though. There was also swelling on her ankle. It can get bad if not treated. I picked her up again.
Damien, what are you doing?
Bella asked. "You managed to sprain your pretty legs, Bella. We have to make it better." "I guess there is a spray in our room for it," I said, making my way upstairs. I heard footsteps thundering behind us, and I knew all three of them were following us. I placed her on the bed and brought the spray out. I carefully sprayed it on her ankle and covered it with a bandage. I looked at her with a triumphant smile, but she was not looking at me. She was looking at the door. I followed her gaze and saw Jared, Jacob, and Michael standing at the door, arms crossed.
Who are they, Damien?
Bella asked in a small voice. I sat beside her and kissed her forehead. "Baby, they are my brothers Jared and Jacob, the twins, and their best friend, Michael."
6. How many siblings does he have that I don't know about? First Nina, and now the twins? He doesn't tell me anything about his family. Jared, Jacob, and Michael enter the room with big smiles.
"Hi, beautiful mate of my brother."
Jared or Jacob says, holding his hand out for me to shake. I reply with a small, "Hi," and shake his hand.
"By the way, I'm Jared, and that serious one is Jacob. He's always serious."
His tone changes from funny to serious in a matter of seconds. "Hi." I give Jacob a small wave. He smiled back and gave a wave.
"That hunk there is Michael. He's our guardian angel. Saves us from all the shit,"
Jared said and wiped a non-existing tear from his cheek. So dramatic, but I think they are fun.
Baby, why don't you go spend some time with Nina and Nate? I'll get to you as soon as I finish talking to them, okay?"
I nod my head and he kissed me. "Bye." I wave at all of them and they wave back. I skip downstairs to meet Nate and Nina. I see them plop down on the floor with loads of junk food thrown on their laps and some shoved in their mouths. "Hey, guys, what are you doing?" I ask and walk closer to them, eyeing their mess. Hey, Issa, did Damien finally release you from his hold? Finally, we can spend some time now. Come join us. We are thinking of watching Twilight series. Seriously, that movie is shit. Nina throws her hands in the air and huffs. I slid next to Nina on the floor, and Nate doesn't waste a second before dumping a heap of food on my lap. I look at him, and he just blinks at me, giving me an innocent look. I wave him off. Hey, you! Can you put the DVD in that TV of yours? Thank you! Nina yells at a random girl. The girl has no option but to do as she says. And so we start watching and eating. 4 hours later. The Twilight sucks. Seriously, I would prefer a werewolf over a dead man, even if I'm half asleep. Why would Bella choose Edward? 2 hours later. Great, now she is dead and turns into a vampire too? What about Jacob? He is so lonely, poor wolf. Half hour later. I can't take it anymore. I'm done. Guys, I don't think I can watch it anymore, I finally said with a huff. Thank God! Finally, both of them say at the same time. I look at them and they have bored and frustrated looks painted on their faces.
We were waiting for you to say those words so we could end this drama.
Nate says, throwing a handful of popcorn in his mouth. Yup. Nina leans against the couch, behind her, and rubs her flat tummy. Where's Adam? I didn't see him when he came back, I asked. Oh, he went back to his pack. I literally had to kick him out. He wouldn't budge. I said I will join their pack once I'm done here, she said. Then my thoughts drift to Damien. Where is he? I think I should check on him. Maybe he got himself in trouble? Not that I can do anything about it, but still. I go upstairs and enter our room. The view in front of me is so beautiful I almost awed. All the boys are sprawled on the king-size bed, half laying on each other. Game remote controls thrown in different directions, all looking so cute. Bromance. Aww, two voices say behind me. I turn around and see Nina and Nate looking at them with baby faces. I giggle but cover my mouth with my hand.
Let's take some pictures,
Nate whisper yelled, taking out his phone. He snapped pictures from different angles. While taking a picture from the side of the bed and slipped on something, he fell on them. Me and Nina froze. All the boys were groaning from Nate's weight. Michael opened his eyes and immediately threw Nate off the bed to the floor. The others soon woke up too. Damien saw me and smiled. I smiled back. The boys got off each other and stood up. We all looked at each other and broke into a fit of laughter.
Oh, okay. Brother, I think we should get going. Mom needs us by morning, so we should leave now,
Jared said, and the other two nodded. Aw, but why so soon? I didn't even get to know you guys, I said and pouted.
Don't worry, little bird. We will meet you soon, and when we do, we will get to know each other really good,
Jacob said and dropped his hand on my shoulder. Damien frowned and not so subtly removed his hand from my shoulder and pulled me to his side.
Mine.
All started laughing at that. Oh God, he is so possessive, but I love possessive. I love him. We walked them to the door and see them off. When they reach out of sight, we bid each other goodnight and went to our rooms. Since we all had loads of junk food, we decided to skip dinner. Anyway, it was too late for dinner. It was nearly midnight. Damien took off his shirt, giving me a full view of his right pack. I just shamelessly ogle at his heavenly body. What can I say? My mate sure is an eye candy. Only for me, though. Wait, where did that come from? What is happening to me? Why am I thinking like this? It's the mate thing, Bella. You will be more attracted to him, and as confident and comfortable you will get, the more the mate bond will affect your thoughts, Nora said. So I'm a bad girl now? I've always thought of having a mate, but never thought what I will do when I find him. Till now he has been nothing but sweet and caring, and I know he will not change in the future. I think I can finally accept the mate bond and accept him. I gave him a chance to gain my trust, respect, and love. He has gained all of them, just in a matter of weeks. He even stayed here with me. Because of him, I could take a stand against my bullies. He gave me his love and treated me as if I was the center of his world. What more could a girl possibly dream of? He made my dreams come true. I realized I was standing at the same place and staring at him when he stood in front of me, a smirk plastered on his face.
You done checking me out, baby?
He said, wiggling his eyebrows. I blushed hard and avoided eye contact, thinking of an excuse. Actually...
Don't be shy, baby. It's all yours.
He gestured to his body. that made my cheeks burn like lava. I giggled and ran to the bathroom to change. I could hear his laughing all the way here. He seemed to be really amused by this. I'll give him a taste of his own medicine. I slipped on my short shorts, which are really short by the way, and a crop top, which shows half of my stomach and is a spaghetti strap. I had been reluctant to buy them, saying it won't be for any use, since I won't be wearing them. But they came in handy now. I will have to thank Nina later. I walk out of the bathroom and see Damien already in bed, scrolling mindlessly on his phone. I clear my throat a little, not trying to seem obvious. I don't pay attention to him and just get to my side of bed and slide under the covers, making sure to shake my hips a little. I turned the lamp off and laid down. I finally looked at him and saw him staring at me with eyebrows raised and mouth slightly open. I brought my hand up to his face and waved it. He blinked and took a couple of deep breaths. He turned the lamp on his side and laid down facing me. I faced the other side. He placed his hand on my waist and pulled me to him, my back touching his rock-hard chest. I could feel his hot breath on my skin. He was really close.
What was that, baby? Were you trying to tease me?
He whispered in my ear, sending shivers through my body. Was it working? I asked in the same whispering tone. He started to place small feather kisses down my neck to my shoulder. I almost made a sound but held it in.
You have no idea what you do to me, baby. You are so clueless to your actions. Just a smile of yours increases my heart rate. I am so lucky to have you in my life as my mate.
His words send a wave of warmth through my body, and my heart skips a beat. How can a man love someone so much? Is that even possible? I couldn't ask for a better mate. He is more than the best. His lips continue their assault on my neck, and he grabs my shoulder, laying me flat on my back. He hovers over me, still kissing and sucking on my neck. His lips leave my neck and capture my lips. The kiss is soft and passionate. He plops himself on his elbows to keep his weight off me. His right hand slides to my hip, and he gives it a little squeeze. A moan escaped my mouth, encouraging him. He bites my bottom lip, and I open my mouth for him. His lip slips into my mouth and starts exploring. My hands find their way to his hair. I weave my hands through his soft, thick hair and pull him closer. After a few minutes, we pull away, breathing heavily, in desperate need of oxygen. But he continues to pepper kisses on my jaw, neck, and throat. He pulled away and looked at me through hooded eyes, his smile matching mine.
That was amazing, baby.
He finally says and drops beside me. Yeah, I breathe out.
Then we should do it more often, don't you think?
I laugh at that. Why were your brothers here? So suddenly? I ask softly while his one hand slips into my hair and another to my waist, drawing patterns.
They came back yesterday from New Orleans. They had gone for 4 years for some wolf training. So when they got back, they came here to meet me and received the biggest shock of their lives. That I got my mate.
He explains and ducks his head in between my neck and shoulder. I love you, Damien. I blurt out and turn the other side. His hands on my body go stiff for a moment. I knew it was a bad decision. I should have never told him. Then I was turned around roughly, and again Damien hovering above me. His big, warm hands caress my cheeks as he looks deep in my eyes.
I have waited so long to hear those words from you, baby. I love you too. I love you so much.
Then he kissed me as if there was no tomorrow. I love this man-wolf.
Chapter 27. Damien's POV. Oh my God, was last night a dream? That was the first thought that crossed my mind when I opened my eyes. She told me that she loves me. It seems like all my dreams came true with those 3 words. And not to forget the hot making out. It felt like heaven. Just thinking about it makes me hard down there.
Good morning, Damien.
Her voice is so angelic. She turns over to face me and smile. I smile back and kiss her little button nose. So the sleeping beauty is finally awake. Good morning, baby. She nodded her head and says,
What are you thinking so much about?
Just about how lucky I am to be with you. What did I ever do to deserve a wonderful soul like you as my mate? She blushed and locked our hands together.
I should be thankful, Damien. I don't know what I would have done without you. I was really heartbroken. I lost all hope of being happy. At a point, I even tried to end my life, but Nora didn't let me. I guess she knew you would come, my knight in shining armor.
She ducked her head on my shoulder, and I rubbed her arms soothingly. I'm really sorry you had to go through all that shit. It's my duty to keep you safe and protected, but I didn't. But I will make it better. I will shower you with so much love that you will forget everything that happened in the past. Don't get me wrong, love, but a part of me is glad that Mason rejected you. Now you can be mine forever. Only mine. Mine to keep. Mine to love. And with those words said, I tightened my grip on her and closed my eyes, savoring the moment.
I'm glad to.
Her voice extremely quiet and cracking at the end. I loosened my grip and pulled away a little, just so I could see her cute little face, now covered with tears. I quickly wiped them off with my hands and cupped her cheeks in my hand. What?
I'm glad that Mason rejected me. No one could possibly love me as much as you do, Damien. You loved me when I was covered in blood and bruises. I am weak, and you are still here. Anyone else would have left me, like Mason did. But you were there. Still are. I love you.
Her words felt like a pinch in my heart. My Bella is so fragile. How could anyone think of hurting her? But again, I witnessed it, so I can believe it. But what I can't believe is that what have I done to avenge her? Nothing. Those people hurt her, and I was waiting for a perfect moment. What a pathetic maid I am. Don't say that, Bella. You are beautiful, now and back then. I love you. I was in love with you even before I met you. I always dreamed of a mate like you. Sweet, caring, selfless, kind, shy. I can't describe my love for you. My love has no extent, no boundaries. Then I kissed her with everything in me, trying to prove my love to her. Knock, knock. A knock on the door made me groan in frustration. Bella pulled me away, giving me one last peck. She hopped off the bed and ran into the bathroom. I slipped on my shirt and was ready to give the person on the other side a little piece of my mind. I opened the door and was surprised to see a young girl, around 6 or 7, standing there with a tray of food in her hands. The tray was way too big for her little hands. I took the tray from her and looked at her with a small smile. "What are you doing here?" I asked softly. She didn't look up and kept her gaze at the floor. She was shifting on her legs and her hands were now locked behind her back.
You were late for breakfast, Alpha Damien, so Luna Morgana told me to deliver food to your room. I'm sorry if I'm late, Alpha,
she said in a quiet voice, which reminded me of Isabella's when I first spoke to her. Okay, you're not late. What is your name, and why did you bring the food? You should have told someone else, pretty girl. I crouched down to her level and lifted her face up with my fingers. She is such a cute little thing.
My name is Joey. They told me if I don't do it, they will give me to the monsters. If I tell them that I will not do anything, my mommy hits me. I'm scared.
Tears start to form in her big blue eyes. I heard a gasp behind me. Bella stood there with a hand on her mouth, keeping herself from sobbing, her tears falling freely down her cheeks. She jogs up to the door and hugs Joey. I know what she feels. She sees herself in the little girl. These people are monsters. They don't have any sense of humanity left inside them. She's no older than 7. She's a kid. It's her age to play and have fun, not cleaning other people's shit. Bella pulls away from Joey and gives a small smile. Joey smiles back. A cute girly smile. Joey, did you have your breakfast? I asked, and she shook her head no.
They don't let me have breakfast till everyone is done with theirs,
she said. I pulled Bella up and picked Joey by her arms. I balanced Joey on my hips and give the tray to Bella. Let's go and have some breakfast then, shall we? I sit her on the bed and place the tray full of food in front of her. I and Bella sit opposite her.
Come on, eat up, Joey.
Bella encourages her, and she picks up a small pineapple cube from the bowl. I sigh and pick up a fork and knife. I cut the chocolate chip pancake into a small bite size and bring it to her mouth. She stares at me with her wide eyes. "Open up. Eat," I said, and she opened her mouth. I fed her a couple more times before she started eating by herself. Soon enough, we were full. Joey is giggling at something Bella said in her ear, while I stretch my hands and legs. Another knock on the door grabs our attention, and I have to open it, since the girls seem to be in their own land, laughing and giggling. I open the door and see a smirking Nate. I raise an eyebrow and silently ask, "What?" I seriously don't need any interruption today. I just want to spend some time with my princess. Is that too much to ask? Your mom called, and my knees almost gave out.